Following the Barrytown United game on the pitch, we did the post-match interview, and you said you were happy with the result and the performance. You've had almost a week to reflect now. Any further thoughts as you look back to that game?
Yeah, I thought it's very difficult because when you're in there and you're watching the game and you're seeing things you're not quite happy with, you then reflect and watch the game back live, make notes, and usually you come away thinking, okay, that wasn't quite so bad. That's why it's always good to reflect and not go into the players and say things that sometimes you don't mean, and then have to go to the players and say, you know what, I didn't mean that. You weren't as out of position, or you didn't do something quite as bad as I thought. So it's always nice to do that. And yeah, I thought we were very good at times. I thought we were a little bit naive at times in our play that allowed them to be positive and break on us, but that's always going to happen with the style we play. So we need to have a look at that at times, depending on who we play and what formation they play. Obviously played a 3 there, which we were thinking that they were going to play a 4, so we planned for them to play a 4. So yeah, it's always nice to have something as a problem to figure it out as well, a solution. It's no good just playing teams that are going to play the same way against you all the time. It's certainly interesting and good for our players as well.
And the unbeaten run continues, not just in the JD Cymru Premier this season, but we have to go back to February the 21st for the last defeat over 90 minutes. And when we play Cardiff Met tomorrow, that will be exactly 9 calendar months since our last defeat in those circumstances. Obviously there's been a long period of no games, but nevertheless that's an impressive stat. That's 15 games unbeaten over 90 minutes.
Yeah, it is. Like you say, there's obviously been a few months missing there from the calendar, but yeah, I think positive start we've had. You know, we need to solidify, get back to clean sheets and whatever. But you can't argue with the start we've had. It's as good as we've had in, I think, probably 6 years, is it? Something like that. I've looked at it. It's very promising, and it's obviously something we've got to work to. We've played 11 games now. Third of the season. So if you look at those stats and continue the form and how we've done, then we certainly won't be too far away.
We won 5-0 at Kincoid campus on March the 18th, 2017. But since then against Cardiff Met, in that fixture, we haven't won, we've drawn 3, lost 1. Could have been worse because on 2 occasions, Kevin Cowber, 90+2, our last visit there last year, Keston Davis, 90+5, both of those rescued points. As with Barrytown United last week in our press conference, we looked at their performances here, or their results here in the JD Cymru Premier. How do you analyse those against Cardiff Met away, and what conclusion do you draw?
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's some places you go to and you find it tricky for whatever reason. I mean, they've been excellent since they've come into the league. When did you say they're the 15? Was it 15? So yeah, I think they've been brilliant for the league. Fit, strong, hungry players that whenever we play them, they always give us a tough game. I like Christian. He's a good bloke, but he's an excellent coach as well. So he's always got something up his sleeve to try and hamper us. Even games at home here, they've beat us last season 2-1. Took a quick corner, caught us out, and then a little bit of a mistake for our second goal. But I think they're always there or thereabouts playing us. Even this season, you look at the 2 goals we scored. I just watched some highlights back yesterday, actually, from the first time we played them. One was a clearance that got through to Sis and he finished nicely, and then second half Sis cut in and it was an own goal. So it wasn't as easy as the scoreline probably looked at the time. So I don't know. I don't know. As a player, I always had times where I'd go to a certain place and think, you know what, it's always going to be tough wherever they are in the league. It's just one of those things, I think, and I think we've had some good results there. I remember having won probably in 2000 in the early times we played them there. I think we got a 2-0, but even back then we got a draw as well. So it's one of those places, and hopefully tomorrow our run will show that we've come a bit further down the line.
And as we stand at the moment, TNS first, of course, with 29 points. Cardiff Met are in 10th place, 9 points, so a gap of 20 between the sides after just a third of the season gone. The New Saints scored 34. The Met have struggled on that front. They found the net on just 8 occasions. We've conceded 6. They've conceded 14. Now the neutral would look on and say that's an easy away win. As we know, there's no such thing as an easy game. But how do you prepare the players in terms of focus and avoiding complacency if they were to look at those stats?
Yeah, for players that, fortunately, we've got a couple of players in the squad that have played against them last season anyway, you know. So they're going to know that. The older players that have been here for a longer time, sorry, not older players, but players that we've had, you know, currently in the squad that have played Cardiff Met before know all about that. So they don't need any more, you know, pushing, prodding to say that, look, don't be complacent today. This is a tough one because they've been there, and you know, you've already talked about late goals that we've scored to get draws. Last season was the one where 94th minute, you know, got the draw there, and if you look at it, did we do enough to win the game? Probably not. So yeah, if you look at their scores, their goals scored 8, 14 away. I think they're 4th or 5th least conceded though, if you look at it like that. So yes, they haven't scored a lot of goals, but they don't. If they're going to lose games, they don't lose by many. You know, they've won 2, they've drawn, they've lost 5, drawn 3. Lost 2. So look at those. It shows that if they are going to lose games, it's not by many goals either.
And after the Barrytown United game that we've already referred, I was talking to John Routledge. He happened to come past when I was on the pitch, and he said, "Can you mention me in the interview?" He says, "Because I'm like De Bruyne." And as he said that, Louis Robles came out. Didn't quite catch what he said, but he chipped in with something more like, and I can't remember the name of the player that he said, and we were just laughing there. There's a good team spirit, Scott. That's the point that I'm making from that. How do you, as a manager, first of all, get that team spirit in the dressing room, and then how do you keep it going?
It's about finding the right players that not only are good technically and fit, strong and ambitious, hungry. It's all that. You want players that come into the dressing room and fit in seamlessly, really, you know, sitting next to someone. They're good people. They want to win. They're not just here for either a payday or a route somewhere else. They're here because they want to play. We've got that team spirit, like you've alluded to there. Try to get that better. Try to improve on that, mould a better team spirit. It's all about the people. When you look for signings, you always do your homework and ask people that they've been their managers in the team, teammates. How are they, you know, in tough times, not the good times when you're doing well. It's the flip side, you know, when things are going against you, they're going to roll the sleeves up and dig in. And certainly those players that we have signed have all got those traits, those characteristics that any manager would want to bring into the team. If you go to the players that we've already got here that have been here years, the reason why they're still here is because they've got that in them. It's inbuilt. I don't think in the modern game there's enough of the old team spirit, winning mentality. You have to bring that through into the younger players nowadays because they've been brought up differently. You know, when you're cleaning boots, when you're brushing stands, when you're doing all that, like some of these players that we've had at TNS previously, it does push you on to becoming a better team player. And I think you have to find the right balance in any signing you get. But we've certainly got a good group of players here.
And back to the Cardiff Met game, what's the general injury situation and availability of players looking towards that fixture?
Yeah, we're looking good. Danny Redmond's trained all week. We've had to look after him because of his dislocated shoulder. So it's not a matter of fitness and sharpness for him. It's a matter of if he gets a bang on it, will it put him back? So he'll be hopefully in the squad tomorrow. We've got a couple that we're going to have a look at today. Test them, see if they're okay. But we're getting good numbers back, and it's still only Keston and Brobs that are serious ones at this minute.
And Scott, finally, you do like to drop some Welsh into interviews from time to time. You're learning the language. Sut mae'n mynd? How's it going?
Ydy, dwi'n eisiau siarad Cymraeg, ond dwi I dal angen gwecha.
Gwych. And finally, I did ask you before, can we organise a friendly on Anglesey so that I can ask you after the game, how did it go against Llanfairpwll Gwyngaeth Gogaruk, Windrow Boyd, Clantasilio Gogorgok?
That's some pronunciation. That's very good. Yeah, we'll have to. You'll have to do that for me and see if we can get that sorted.